and traditionally I haven't spoken a lot about the money, but because I think most people involved in the transplant industry do this out of sort of a misguided sense of zeal. I mean, they see certain people as being less helpable and other people, potentially helpable. And so they make sort of a calculation with that. But recently I was on a podcast with a woman who sort of above the family's wishes, a family member of theirs was made an organ donor. And she was absolutely appalled when she learned the amount of money that doctors and hospitals recoup for this. So I do speak about it more now. If you say you give just the typical organs, your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, liver, maybe some intestine, a pancreas, that can be worth in billable charges, just those organs, and not even talking the tissues that you brought up with the circumcision. Just those organs can be worth over $8 million in billable charges.
From one person?
From one person.
Oh, my goodness.
And so if you look nationwide in the U.S., the transplant industry is determined in 2025. The Milliman Actuarial Company actually published these numbers. The transplant industry in the U.S. is over a $60 billion a year industry, billion with a B.
Wow.
And so, yes, I can't say that the money is nothing. Obviously, the money does play a role. And again, if we hadn't been stocking all of our resources into upholding this very questionable practice, I think we could be doing even better for people with organ failure. I mean, living with a transplant is no picnic. Mm-hmm. These people have to be on immunosuppression. Every time they get a fever, there's going to be a concern that you're going to have a rejection. I mean, there are good ethical alternatives that are available and need to be made more available. Strangely enough, I am not completely against transplant. I think that living donation in which both the donor and the recipient remain alive after the procedure is a wonderful, ethical, excellent way to help someone in need. We have a family friend who gave her kidney to her daughter, allowing her daughter has lived now more than 30 years and has done very well. Mm-hmm. So again, living donation can be done for most organs. I mean, even fascinatingly, I learned recently, you can do this for a lung transplant even. The
wow.
recipient receives one lobe of a lung from each of two donors so that everyone now can breathe a little more easily.
Amazing.
Interestingly, there's a totally implantable artificial heart that's in clinical trials since 2024 and is looking very promising. And again, that would be a great way to go, again, to avoid all the complications of rejection and immunosuppression that these poor people with organ failure have to endure. I think, with more time and money being put into better options, it would be better for everyone, even people with organ failure.
So where are all these organs going? If it's a $60 billion industry or worth this much, and it's about $8 million per body to be harvested, where are they all going? Are there that many organ recipients in the U.S.? I'm really surprised to hear that.
Well, it's so interesting. I was just speaking at a bioethics conference, and someone was giving a talk on xenotransplant, which is the use of animal organs for transplantation. And he showed a very interesting slide showing that the more organs are made available, the lower the bar for recommending people receive them. And so it was interesting to see, that the more organs are made available. Now doctors recommend earlier and earlier that people might go on the transplant list, whereas these people were managed other ways up till then. So it becomes sort of a vicious cycle in a way. So yes, people are being recommended for organ transplant earlier and earlier because of the availability.